Hi guys, my name is Megan and today I've got a whole bunch of reading recommendations for the Trans Rights Readathon for you. Alright, so today we're talking all about some of my favorite books that feature trans characters or were written by a trans author. If you guys are still looking for places to donate for the Trans Rights Readathon, may I suggest the Foxhole Fund. This was started by a fan artist for one of my favorite book series, the All for the Game series, and this is a way to help get gender-affirming care items out to people who need them. You can also donate to, I think, Point of Pride is doing a really big fundraiser with Mercury Stardust. There's also the Trevor Project. There's a whole bunch of other trans organizations that could definitely use your funding. I will leave the Foxhole Fund linked down below if you guys are interested. But yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right in. Alright, so first up I have The Flowered Blade. This one is an adult romantasy featuring an autistic trans elf prince who gets kidnapped by the chief of the orcs to help facilitate some negotiations between the elves and the orcs. And like, it's very much a political fantasy, but it's also these two who are complete enemies falling in love slowly and then all at once. It's really fun. Next up I have Free From Falling. This is one of my favorite trans books I've ever read. This is following Matt, who is a hockey player, and it's also following Sydney, who is the trans frontwoman for an up-and-coming punk rock band, and they meet through a mutual friend. They become instant best friends, and then they slowly start falling in love, and Matt is also, I think, autistic and maybe a little bit ADHD. If you want books that have trans characters being joyfully themselves, this is a book I would highly recommend. Next up, I'd like to recommend The Scapegracers. This is following Sideways Pike, who is a lone witch. She's just practicing her magic, and the popular girls at her school hire her to do some magic for a Halloween party that they're throwing, and things go wrong from there. But the mean girls adopt Sideways into their little girl gang and try to get her a girlfriend, but they also start gaining magic and they become a coven, and it's very much a found family. It's a girl gang just trying to protect themselves and other girls in their community, and like going after the super right-wing witch hunters. And like, this is so much fun. It's one of my favorite YA stories, and it's horror and just, it's so good, and I wish people gave this more attention than it gets. Next up, if you want something a lot darker and more adult horror, may I recommend The Woods All Black. So this is set in the 1920s, following a gender nonconforming nurse who is sent to a teeny tiny little village in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains to give them healthcare. This town is super resistant and also very religious, which causes some interesting things to happen within the mountains, and like the woods fight back. It's a really good like short novella. It's super packed with like horror elements. It's set in the middle of the Appalachian woods in the 1920s, and things are getting weird. Well, I would highly recommend. Next up I have The Cemetery Boys. This is one of my favorite YA urban fantasy books I've ever read. This is following Yadriel, who is a trans boy, and like, he just wants to have his coming of age ceremony where he gets his magic, and like, his family is very resistant because they don't know how to treat him, because women are supposed to be one thing and men are supposed to be another, and Yadriel is trans and he doesn't fit either of the boxes that his family put magic users in. So he decides to go off by himself and do his coming of age ceremony by himself, and while doing that he accidentally summons the ghost of one of his classmates, and together they have to figure out how and why he was murdered and maybe fall a little bit in love. This is one of my favorite books, and the second one I think is coming out sometime in 2026. I'm not 100% sure when, but this was really fun, and it's one that I would highly recommend. And then last but not least, I have another novella for you. This one is Shelter in Garnet Run. This is following River, who is non-binary, and they run the cat shelter in Garnet Run, which is a very tiny town. This book is also part of a larger series that has a lot of queer characters, and River makes appearances in almost all of them. And River is setting up shop at a Christmas fair to help get the cats from their shelter adopted, and he is set up next to Cassidy, who is a taxidermist, and they kind of butt heads, and Cassidy like understands but also like tries to make amends and be like, you know, I'm an ethical taxidermist, I don't, you know, take anything that is not ethically sourced, and like they start up a really cute friendship that quickly devolves into a romance, and it's really sweet. This one does have migraine representation in it, ADHD representation. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but it's one of my favorite holiday romances, and like I said, it's part of a wider queer story that I would also recommend. So those are some of my recommendations for the Trans Rights Readathon, and again, if you guys are interested in donating, the Foxhole Fund could really use some support. But yeah, if you guys like this video, don't forget the like button. If you haven't already but would like to, go and hit the subscribe button. And if you'd like to follow me on social media for more bookish stuff, check out the links down below. Alrighty, bye guys!